G'day guys, back in the workshop again today. We just got the new engine in the VK here and we thought we'd give you a quick rundown on how we run in our LS engines using the KCK running in engine oil. But before we fire it up, let's have a quick look over it and we'll see what we've got. Alright, it's based on the LS3. It's out to 410 cubes, Eagle crank, Eagle rods, Manly forged pistons, comp cam, comp rockers, Crow or tie bar roller lifters, AFR heads, fast injection. Got all the good bits obviously. Built for track use, built for circuit use. So running in's pretty straightforward with these, but getting the rings to bed to the bores is probably the most critical part. The piston and bore is pretty loose. Being a race engine, we're not worried about longevity, but it'll go straight from here today off to the dyno, then be racing next weekend. We've had the plugs out of it, we've cranked up oil pressure, we've got the factory gauge, we've also put a master gauge on that we know is accurate so we can check the oil pressure while it's running. Coolant's full and bled. Keep in mind this is a roller cam engine, so the running in process is different to that of a flat tapping engine. We also soak our roller rockers and roller lifters in engine oil for at least 24 hours. The needle rollers aren't pressure fed, and if you neglect them on startup with the big valve springs, big lifts, you will do damage to the needle rollers really fast. That being said, we're ready to fire this up. Here we are in the car, ready for initial startup. Now the game plan is, we know it's got oil pressure, we've cranked that up without the plugs in, but to monitor that, we wanted to run it to full operating temperature. This will generally take 20 to 30 minutes. We don't want any time at idle, and we would like to keep the RPM under 2,500. Now, not being tuned for this combination, we need to find a happy place where the engine runs clean. We don't want to glaze the bores or over fuel at all. So ignition on, we're running the fans just so it takes that little bit longer. Let's see if this thing starts. That's now all up to operating temperature. Coolant's about 85, oil's pretty similar. Total runtime was about half an hour. Towards the end there, started to give it a few revs just to clear it out and make sure everything was sweet. All the pipes are discolored the same, so I can assume it's running pretty well actually. But now what we need to do is get it up in the air and drain that oil. Now, the importance of draining the oil when it's hot is not just because I like burning myself, but we need to get rid of the running in oil as well as any contaminants within that oil. And if we let it settle, the fine particles from running in and the assembly lube will settle on the bottom of the sump. It'd become really hard to get rid of. So if we drop it while everything's still suspended in the oil, we should get most of it out. Keep in mind the oil is hot, don't burn yourself. That's it. The darkness in that is normally just from the running in assembly lube. As soon as that drains, pull the filter, let it drain all the way out, and while that's happening, we'll get up top and we'll check the rockers. We've got the coil packs off, the rocker cover off, and the cam box spacer off. As when I put it together the first time, I go through and mark them with the Nico pen so I know which ones I've done. If this one's on full lift, this one's on the base circle, so it's a really simple way to check it, and that they've loosened up quite a bit. A lot of that is because of the expansion of the aluminium. Now it's critical, the only time your valve clearances matter is at operating temperature. Doesn't matter when it's cold because you don't race when it's cold. So always set them hot, and that is quite loose. It's supposed to be 16 thou, so 16 thou to me means you can't push 17 thou in there. You need to take up all the slack in the rockers, the shafts, the push rods, everything. It has to be a tight 16, and then you're at the manufacturer's specifications. So I'll run through and do that now, and we'll see how it goes. While I'm going through checking these, I've wiped my marks off and I'm remarking them as I go. They should all have grown or shrunk by the same amount. If you have one that's all of a sudden excessively loose or excessively tight, you've probably got an issue in there somewhere. Could be a lifter going bad, it could be a damaged push rod, it could have even sunk the valve into the head. So it's a good indication if you find a problem at this stage, but it's just something to keep an eye out for. I've just got a big bar on the front of the engine to ratchet it over. Doing it this way, you should be able to do all the valve clearances in 2 full rotations. So take your time, get it right. If you take too long doing the first side, take the time, put it back together, warm it back up, and do the other side. This is critical, take your time and get it right. That's that side all finished. I'll go through now that I know they're done and wipe my marks off. That all opened up to about 20 thou, which, like I was saying, has got a lot to do with the expansion of the aluminium of the cylinder head and the block, but nothing seemed out of the ordinary there. I'll go ahead, do the other side next while it's still hot. The oil's still draining. As soon as I get that back together, this will get the KCK 20W50, ideal for the LS engines, for the roller cams, good zinc content. And this thing should be good for another 1500 Ks before I see it, and then it'll just be services after that. We're just about done here. That's our running in procedure for the LSs with the KCK running in oil. Really fast, really easy to do, and it's done right. It'll go straight from here, straight to the dyno, from the dyno straight to the racetrack, and that's it. We'd expect a service life of about 1500 Ks between oil changes, and keep in mind that's full throttle for 1500 Ks. But that's about it, simple. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to stay up to date with what's going on. Any suggestions on future content, please leave a comment below. We do check it. If the video was helpful, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your buddies. But thanks for watching.